Good morning. Welcome to Deer Corner. Finishing up my breakfast. It's about 5:30, almost 5:45. Chilly out there this morning, 33 degrees, almost freezing. And we got about 3 more weeks of deer season here up here at the cabin left. And I was down the road here a bit yesterday. Had to haul off some garbage and take it down and get rid of it, and stopped in and fueled up, and as I was in there, some deer hunters were in there, and we got to talking, and oh, you're up hunting the second rut of the year. I said, well, if you can call it that. And he kind of looked at me. Well, there's 2 ruts a year. And I go, well, I didn't say a whole lot to him about it. And I said, well, I'm just deer hunting. But the clarification that there's 2 ruts a year. Now, that's going to depend a whole lot of where you're hunting. And it's going to depend a whole lot on your doe buck population. Does versus bucks. And that's where you need to keep it kind of equal with your does versus bucks. You can't have too many does. And then not enough bucks. So we kind of watch our doe buck population up here at the cabin and on our property here. And what I mean by all this is your rut starts when your doe comes in estrus. Your first doe comes in estrus, comes in heat. That's when your rut starts. Now, you may have 5 or 6 mature bucks out there that can breed. And usually a buck can breed after he's 2 years old. So you got 4 or 5 bucks out there that's capable of breeding your does. So you got 1 doe that comes in estrus. So you're going to have several bucks on that 1 doe. Now that doe will come in estrus from 5 to 11 days or 5 to 15 days. So as she comes in, another 5 days later, another doe comes in. So you may have 2 does in estrus or heat at the same time. One's at the peak, one's coming in. Therefore, your bucks are starting to move around. Now they got 2 does. And then later on, another doe will come in. Now, your does don't all come in heat or estrus at the same time. They come staggered in. Sometimes you may have one follow in a couple days, or so, pretty close, depending on how many does you have. And that's where your doe buck population has to be put in place. Now, if you have more does than you do bucks, and the does are coming in estrus, a couple of them does will not get bred because there's not enough bucks to go around. Therefore, your younger does will go out of estrus. And a lot of them within a month, and let's say they come in November, 1st of November, and then they go out the end of November, and then coming into December, a lot of them do come back in. Will come back into estrus because they didn't get bred. Now a lot of your mature does, now they'll come in estrus, same thing, 5 to 15 days, and then they'll go out, but they won't come back in. Quite a few of your older does don't come back in if they don't get bred. Your younger does do. And so they're calling it a second rut. Well, there again, your doe buck population. Because I can have a doe, my ruts start here in the 1st of November, but then that doe went out, but she didn't get bred and come in the 1st of December. Meanwhile, throughout that time, I have does coming in estrus. And then this first doe that didn't get bred, she comes back in. So that rut actually starts the beginning of the season, breeding season, to the end of breeding season, due to the fact I have does and bucks and the times they're coming in. So there is no second rut. Now here, there is no second rut here at the cabin because I have enough doe buck population, the does all the way through. But in areas that I've noticed, some areas don't have the right doe buck population, where you're got fewer does and not enough bucks, and or no bucks, and that happens. You don't have no bucks. People shoot them out. They shoot out the elderly bucks, no breeding. So if you have a couple does in your area and they come in estrus and they go out and not bred, then you're going to have a waiting period of a couple weeks, 3 weeks. And then the younger ones will come back in again. So you have a rut that started, stopped, and then they come back and it starts again. And that's what they're calling the second rut. And that's very, very slim in any area that you actually have 2 ruts. There's a lot of deer out here, more deer than what people think. And you really don't have a second rut. Now here in this area, no, I do not have a second rut. I have 1 rut from the beginning to the end. So I just wanted to discuss that a little bit about, oh, you're hunting the second rut. Well, this area here, my rut starts when the first doe comes in estrus and my last doe goes in estrus, and that pretty well runs it the whole year. Now, like I said earlier, there may be areas where a doe or 2 come in, don't get bred, and a couple weeks later come back in. But that period in between the 2 of when they come in and out, and you got 2-3 weeks there where there are no does in estrus, and then 1 comes back in, then yes, you got a second rut. But that's very very, very uncommon for that to happen. There's a lot of deer out here, a lot of deer all over the U.S. I don't see a second rut, or what they call a second rut. So I'm glad you're with me. We're getting our breakfast done and getting ready to go out this morning. And I hope you're all having a good hunting season. And above all, I just hope you're seeing some deer. Not necessarily have to shoot any or take any home, but at least you're seeing deer. That's the thing. That's the thing about getting out there and seeing deer. I've said it many, many times, I got a lot of deer footage on camera. I've never shot a lot of deer this year. I got 2 this year, but if I'm able to sit there and film them on camera, I shot them. I mean, I might as well say, yeah, I could have shot them easily. But I love going out and I like seeing deer, and I watch them. But yeah, thanks for coming along. Hit your like button, subscribe, and I hope to see you again. And above all, if you're out in the woods, be safe. You'd rather be safe than sorry. Things do happen. And you all have a good day.